So Star Wars Armada is an interesting game. Not only because of the rules, but the miniatures actually come pre-painted. And they look quite decent. So you might ask yourself, is there a case for repainting them? And I think there is. It's me again, so I will use an ISD in this video to show you how to paint these ships. But if you liked any of the others that I just showed you, just wait until the end of the video. There I will show you an extensive list of all the paints that you need to get any of the other ships. So enjoy the video and, well, now you can brush me away or whatever. Alright, let's get into it. And just a heads up, I will use an airbrush during this tutorial, but you can follow it without a problem. Just utilize your brushes and probably spray cans. So we start out by priming the model white. And because it's an ISD, I will only paint the top half. You can see the other one anyway. Alrighty, the priming is done. Now we apply the first base layer. In the footage it might look like there's barely a difference between the prime color and the first layer. But we need a step anyway, and it's not my fault that the Imperial Navy chooses a very light grey. First layer is done, and now we have to wait until it's dry. This is mandatory. Now we apply the chipping fluid, and be generous, but don't drench your model. This step is key, because this is where the magic happens later on. Let it dry for about 20 minutes. When the chipping fluid is dry to the touch, apply the second layer. Now it's time to get out your old, coarse, sturdy and, well, broken brushes. Because now we will scratch the second layer off again, at least in some parts. You only need a little bit of water. Next step is really easy, just wet your brush and the surface and start scratching. Pay attention to how I move the brush. I don't apply much force and it's more of a, well, sweeping motion. You need to give the water some time to soften the paint again. And you don't need to hurry. You can always go back to that piece and, well, scratch some more off. Be gentle and work step by step so you don't take too much color off at the same time. Utilize different brushes in different areas. Here, for example, I use the brush more like I would dry brush and just gently take some color off on these edges. This of course will take some time, but the more time you invest, the better it looks in the end. And remember, this is a spaceship that is miles long, so you don't want big scratches. You can see both halves. One is already scratched and the other one is still untouched. Quite a difference, eh? Now continue until the whole surface is done. Now I seal the whole model with matte varnish, just to make sure the following steps won't ruin everything. Now we will apply a filter. If you never worked with that before, it's technically like a wash, but very, very, very thin. For the ISD, I mix two grays together. Then apply the filter over the whole model. This will blend those two layers closer together. Take a piece of paper towel and gently dab it onto the model. This will give the paint job some irregularities. Now we apply a dark wash on those superstructure pieces on the sides of the model. Don't be gentle, we want a difference in contrast. Now comes the most tedious but also most rewarding part. We want to apply the dark wash at basically every edge that the ISD has. And there are a lot. But don't be afraid, the enamel washes we're using are much more forgiving than the acrylic ones. You can always go back and just wipe it away. and pay attention how I use the brush here. I don't really brush the wash on, I just put it at a place and then I guide the paint. For example, if you place it at a junction like here, you can see the wash just makes its way along those edges. So use the fluidity of those enamel washes to your own benefit. Trust the process, it will look gorgeous in the end. When you're done, you just grab another paper towel and, well, wipe away the excess. We technically blend the colors together while doing that. We will get softer transitions this way. If you still want to refine it more, just grab an enamel thinner. Wet your paper towel and blend the color some more. This is the reason why we sealed the previous paint job. And here we have it. Already looks quite neat, doesn't it? But we are not quite finished yet. Next up, heavily wash the whatever this is called. Is that an engine bay? An exhaust bay? I have no clue. That thing. Again, wipe some excess off on the prominent places to give it some highlights. Also, don't forget to wash the hangar trenches. Then paint some random white spots all over the superstructure. This will become the lights later on you always see in the movies. Also, don't forget the hangers on the side. And, of course, the engines. Don't half-ass it, apply 2 to 3 coats, the white needs to look pristine. Let's talk fluorescent paints. They are quite neat, they don't glow per se. But they do throw back more light than the usual paints, which to the human eye makes it look like it is actually glowing. It's not easy to pick it up with the camera though, so I'm trying to show it to you by holding it next to my finger. And it sort of looks like my finger is getting illuminated. So in short, it's not glowing, but to us it looks like it, and this is exactly what we want for our engines. Here is the bad news though. If you're a Rebel player or a Separatist player, you're fine, because your engines are orange. The orange paint is amazing, it's very bright, so is the red and also the yellows. The blue one, however, it is a fluorescent paint, doesn't work as well as the others. So we will mix it with some yellow to give it a little bit more glow. To get there, you need to add a little bit of yellow to a lot of blue. Start out gently and add a little bit more until you have the proper color. It will still look cool in the end, but the orange ones are always going to look better, that's just how it is. Use 1 or 2 drops of pigment fixer to get the paint ready. Then we just paint it straight on the white like a wash. Ignore if there's some pooling going on, we will blend it later. Then we use the same pigments but without the pigment fixer. Load the powder on your brush and just gently deposit it all over those white dots. I also put some yellow powder on some spots to give it a little bit of variety. I will leave the footage running a little bit longer so you can get a feel on how to apply the pigments properly. Then you take a clean brush and just blend it and wipe it away. Just like that, you created perfect lights. Now to the engines, take a clean, coarse brush. It's simple, stick the brush in there and starting from the middle, wipe the pigments away. That way you will gradually blend them, create an engine-like glow effect. This is the last step, I promise. Take a white glowing powder and just apply it again. Put it in the middle, wipe a little bit, and just like that, it's a perfect blend. Your new ship is now ready for action. This tutorial was quite an effort to make, so if you think I earned it, leave a like and a comment, and subscribe if you want to see more. And as promised, here are the paints that you need for the other ships.